We're all searching for the answer to the ultimate YouTube question: how to get more views. Even the most authentic and pared back video needs some editing, particularly editing to deal with cuts. And really the only way to edit, if you want your talking head video to look authentic and to flow, is by using the zoom effect. So why does zooming matter? Well, without it, the results can feel flat and static, and zooming emphasizes key points. It breaks up long takes and it smooths transitions. And by doing all that, it keeps your audience engaged and entranced. It's the Lego block of editing, if you like. Simple, but foundational. So let's go through the two fundamentals for talking head videos. The first is making cuts seem natural and intentional. And the second is to bring life to an image that would otherwise seem boring to the viewers. So let's switch to the computer and we'll look at some cuts. You'll see on the screen the timeline. It's quite slow. Do you want titles that grab attention and make your video stand out? Let me show you how. So it's an introduction to a video to talk about titles. I'm going to come to here and cut it because there's a long pause here. So I'm going to get rid of that pause. Put the playhead here, cut it to here, get rid of that. So if we now look at it. Let me show you how. Stand out. Let me show you how. I've cut it, and I've cut it in such a beautiful way you can hardly see any change, but there is a jump there. You see how my head moves. Right. So we've got a cut. It actually doesn't look too unnatural, but there is a jump. And a way to make it look really natural is to include a zoom at that point, so it looks like you're zooming in for effect for that next part of the sentence or that next sentence. So we just need to click on that clip and then we come up here to the crop tool, click on that, and then you want to do crop to fill, and you just grab these corners. So I'm going to click on that to set that crop, and then we're going to have a look. So we're going to go from here, let me show you how, and it crops in. And did you see it was quite a small crop? It only moves a tiny bit, and that's really key. So if I do that again, but I make the crop bigger, you'll see that it is quite an interruption. So that's really zooming in at that point. Let me show you that. Let me show you how. Did you see how different that was? Stand out. Let me show you how. So what you don't want to do is do a very significant zoom in all at once. You want to zoom in a little bit, just for emphasis and to hide the fact that you've cut at that point. So I'm going to go back to the original there, and then I'm going to just crop it a little bit. Again, crop to fill. Just crop it a little bit. There we go. Try to make it even and try to keep myself in the same place in the frame. So I'm going to go from one to the other. It's just a small movement. And what you would want to do is layer those, so as you cut, as you have subsequent cuts, you'd have incremental zooming in as you go along, and that's the key effect you want to go for. Let's just have another go, and we'll do it here, and then we'll have several of these. So we'll get to the end of this sentence here, cut it, cut here, get rid of that one, and then we're going to go from there to here. We're going to crop here, just a little bit, crop to fill. And then we'll crop this a bit more, so it zooms in just a tiny bit more. Make your video stand out. Make your video stand out. Make your video stand out. Let me show you how. Okay, so did you see how we started zoomed out, zoomed in a little bit, and then zoomed in a little bit more? And by doing that, you can retain attention. So that's how you use the zoom effect across cuts to make sure that you're providing as authentic and as natural looking a video as possible. The second zoom effect that it would be really useful for you to use in these pared back videos is where you have a still image or a video perhaps that needs enhancing in some way. And that effect allows for a zoom across the time of that clip. It's called the Ken Burns effect, and it's really easy to use, and I'll show you how to use it now. So if we go back to the screen, let me add a still image and put it down here. I pulled down the still image and we can have a look at it and see what it looks like on the screen. Make your video stand out. Let me show you how. You can see how boring it is just to have a still image on the screen like that. So what we can do is we can allow for an ongoing zoom across that picture. If we click on it and go up to crop, this time we're going to go to something called the Ken Burns effect. And you can see on the screen we've got these start and end boxes. So they show you where the zoom starts from and where it will end over this timeline, over the course of the picture being on the screen. And you can have a very subtle zoom like we've got here. It'll just very gently zoom in. So let's try that. Start at the beginning. Make your video stand out. And you can see how it just slowly zooms in, and that's a pretty good effect actually. That works really well. You can play around with it though. You can have it start there and end wherever you like. You can have it end on in a particular place, a particular focal point. So let's try that. Start make your here. Video stand out. Let me show you. Zooms in there, or you might want to zoom in across the road. So let's try that one. We zoom it, but focus it on the road instead. Focus it on zooming in on the road. Make it even bigger just to emphasize it. And we'll have the starting where it was. Let's try that. And make your video stand out. Let me show you how. You can see you zoom in on the road there. Okay, so that's the Ken Burns effect. So you can use that even for videos if you want to add a little bit of movement to the video, perhaps to show that you're tracking along with a subject or something. So those are the two really key effects that you can use, particularly where you want to have a pared back, really authentic video. Essentially, in any video you're producing, you'll want to use the zoom effect and the Ken Burns effect probably, because they are the building blocks of editing. And with that and my little YouTube sign, I'll say see you on the next video.